Good Monday morning to you. This is the November 18th edition of our map discussion. This is our satellite and surface map over the past day or so. Over the Carolinas, you can see some high pressure remaining in control, being squeezed to the south by this front that is making its way through the northeast. But the real kicker is what's developing out here in the western part of Texas. That's going to be our big storm that we've been talking about since last week, I suppose. And so let's get into it. So this is what the weather map should look like by 8 a.m. this morning. Notice that this storm is beginning to wrap up. It's got some snow on the backside of that, while fog has taken over the southeastern coast. But that should burn off rather quickly by this afternoon. Some pretty clear skies across the Carolinas, while this storm out west tightens up and lifts north. And as it lifts north, it is bringing in some, by Tuesday, November 19th, 8 a.m., some rain across the Tennessee and Ohio River valleys, and especially along the Gulf Coast, where they could see some pretty hefty rains. Meanwhile, you got the parent low up in somewhere in Minnesota with some pretty hefty snow across North Dakota and northeastern Montana, while we are being drenched across the southeast. In the Carolinas, we'll see some, but not a lot, as the precipitation by 8 a.m. Wednesday begins to thin out and lighten up, unfortunately. But you still have some pretty good snows. By Thursday, we get some interesting stuff going on. This storm is just going to be like a cold ball. You have some wintry precipitation across the Great Lakes, and notice that we have some wintry precipitation beginning to make its way into the mountains of North Carolina by 8 a.m. Thursday, and this is going to last until 8 a.m. Friday and then disappear, except for the mountains of West Virginia and parts of Virginia. But let's get into that situation a little bit more in detail. So looking at that storm in more detail, we're going to first start off at 4 p.m. Wednesday, November 20th. Everybody is rain. Everybody's warm enough for rain. But as we go step forward in time, that cold air begins to catch up to the backside of the precipitation field, and that's going to change over the precipitation, any precipitation in the mountains, to snow by 7 a.m. Thursday. Higher elevations first. So like places like Asheville should still be rain getting into Thursday afternoon, but by Thursday evening, you might see a change over to snow by 7 p.m. Even maybe some rain mixed with snow from Lenore, Morganton, Lake Lure, points north of Spindale and Polkville. Not entirely sure that you'll see some snow in Hickory. This is probably mainly going to be a mountain event, but this is a classic northwest flow snow for this area. And it's a big storm, as we saw on the Prague maps. So all that moisture is going to be slung up against the mountains. And it's going to be cold enough for some snow to be squeezed out. This is 1 a.m. Friday. As we go through the day on Friday, We warm up a little bit, especially across the foothills and the valleys of the mountains. So those should change over to snow, or I'm sorry, rain, while we maintain snow in the higher elevations. And then by Friday evening, we should see a changeover back to snow, but at the same time, a thinning of the precipitation field. So it might end as rain in places like Asheville, but it'll remain snow and all snow across the higher elevations. Now, as far as accumulations, the best I can do is raw model data. So this is the best I can do right now. This is the GEFS, the ensemble version of the GFS. So this is a collection of 21 models, including the GFS itself, but the 21 models are averaged together, and it produces a forecast. In this case, this is the average snow depth change. And this is ending at 7 a.m. Saturday. And right now, we can only expect up to an inch across the higher elevations. Now, once the shorter term models get in like time frames, like the North American Meso model, which could resolve some of the terrain features across western North Carolina, only goes out 3.5 days. And right here, we're talking about Saturday. And this is 126 hours out. So, yeah. Right now, expecting some snowfall across the higher elevations, up to an inch at this point. I have to say maybe higher amounts, but this is the best I can do right now. So all that noise should be done by Saturday at 7 a.m. If we zoom back out to our storm system, there she blows across the northeastern United States. And you can see that there's snow across the higher elevations, all up and down the Appalachians at this point. Once we move forward, you can see that that's not moving forward, that's zooming out. If we can zoom into the time, there you go. You still have some lingering showers and snow showers across the Great Lakes regions, reaching down into West Virginia. But then your eyes turn back to the west, where another storm system is taking shape. And in between the two is our high pressure, bringing calmness and joyness to the Carolinas. So that will do it for this update. For as far as temperatures, though, we will be kind of warm, mid to upper 60s across western parts of Carolina, getting into the 70s. And then Thursday and Friday, we'll see a big cool down. Temperatures in the Charlotte region won't get out of the 50s on Thursday. And then, which is okay because our normal temperature is around 60 degrees anyway. So we're going to be roughly 5 to 10 degrees above average for the next 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then cooling down to about 10 degrees below average. So if you take the average of the averages, we're average. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.